Welcome back, everyone. Now, before we dive into decoding today's forbidden lore, I need to share a super quick community note. This specific tale has actually been unlawfully lifted from Royal Road, so please, if you see this story anywhere else, report it for us. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get into it. Today's explanator is a descent into a truly tragic, breathtaking piece of mythology. We're talking about a fractured sun, a reborn hunter, and the devastating final truth hidden in Shadowlight. Look, if you thought this was just your standard, run-of-the-mill story about a hero gaining power, oh man, you are in for a massive awakening today. I want to kick things off with a question. A riddle, almost. When the light fades, what does the shadow become? I want you to just keep this central mystery right in the back of your mind as we unpack all of this. Because we aren't just talking about a hero fighting monsters anymore. We are talking about what happens in that terrifying, liminal space between light and dark, and exactly what kind of entity is born in that void.
The system is a tomb.
Right, so to truly understand this, we essentially have to completely shatter our established reality of the dungeons and the gates. The deep lore completely recontextualizes everything we thought we knew. Think about it like this. Every gate that opened, it was a warning flare. While the rest of the world was out there terrified at the dungeons, Jinwoo actually feared the sun. I mean, just stop and think about that for a second. All these gates that humanity assumed were monster invasions, they weren't invasions at all. They were literal flares pointing to something ancient and dangerous, buried beneath the light itself. The whole world was looking at the absolute wrong threat.
Basically, we've all been completely deceived by the narrative. On the surface, we get this incredibly comforting illusion. Traditional RPG mechanics, leveling up, empowerment. It feels like a game. But when you peel that back, you find a really dark reality. Every single time a stat was gained, it actually wasn't a reward at all. It was a ritual. Every quest completed wasn't some fun game mechanic, it was a binding sigil. The system is absolutely not a tool for growth. It is a highly predatory mechanism, and Jinwoo is actively being claimed by the Fallen.
Section 2. Forging the Next God.
He didn't level up. He was claimed by the one who fell. Honestly, this is the ultimate tragedy of Jinwoo's entire journey. The system we all cheered for, it's actually the tomb of a failed god, sealed in eternal dusk. The Eclipse monarch. This was the only entity in existence who defied both light and shadow. And this tomb, masquerading as a game-like system, is slowly, methodically, relentlessly reforging Jinwoo into its successor. It's wild to realize, but he isn't winning. He is being overwritten.
Section 3. Vassals of the Eclipse.
So Jinwoo is not the only tragic figure trapped inside this ritualistic tomb. This lore completely redefines his closest allies into corrupted entities. Take Egress, for example. We typically just think of him as this noble, badass knight, but the lore defines him as a shattered sun construct, hopelessly loyal to a fading code. He's quite literally a remnant of a dead light. And then there's Brew. Once a terrifying devourer, his new role in the Eclipse actually makes him a dark prophet. He sees with total clarity exactly what Jinwoo is destined to become.
Section 4. The Lunar Blade.
Speaking of seeing what Jinwoo will become, Cha Hei-yin sees the terrible truth too. But the crazy part? She doesn't run. Why is that? Well, it all comes down to aura duality. The standard expectation of a hero in this world is a golden aura, right? A symbol of pure light. But Cha Hei-yin is different. She possesses a lunar aura. She isn't your traditional golden hero. No, she is the moon's blade, an instrument meant specifically destined to cut the chains of the next god. She acts as the ultimate counterbalance to the eclipse itself.
Section 5. The Paradox of Shadowlight.
Okay, so this isn't just a personal tragedy for Jinwoo. This is a full-blown existential crisis for the highest powers in the universe. Why are the monarchs themselves absolutely terrified? Let me tell you, it is not because he is strong. Raw power isn't what scares gods. It's because he carries both their curse and their cure. The Eclipse is a living paradox. It exists completely outside their binary rules of light and dark. It can't be controlled, it can't be reasoned with, it can't be bargained with. It can only end them. The system has effectively engineered a weapon of pure, uncontrollable finality.
Which brings us to the absolute most fatalistic truth of all. There is no happy ending here, just a choice. I really want you to just sit with the weight of that for a second. All the struggling, all the leveling up, all those insane life-or-death battles, literally none of it leads to salvation. It only leads right to an impossible crossroad.
So here it is, the final ultimatum. Put yourself right in Jinwoo's shoes for a moment. On one hand, you can stay in the light and forget, choose that blissful, comfortable ignorance. Or, on the other hand, you can become the Eclipse and remember everything. You can embrace the overwhelming, cursed enlightenment of a failed god. Because to possess the ultimate truth means becoming the ultimate darkness. So what would you honestly choose?
To close out our explainer today, I am going to share a sealed lore fragment with you. Listen closely to this. The Eclipse monarch watches from dusk. Not shadow, flame, or light. The boundary incarnate, destined to devour the bonds between gods and mortals. When he wakes, balance is forgotten. That is straight from page 17 of the Sealed Veil Codex of the Last Light. It's a pretty chilling reminder that the eclipse doesn't pick sides. It just consumes the boundary between them all. So I'll leave you with this final, provocative thought. When the eclipse finally fully awakens in Jinwoo and balance is forgotten forever, what happens to the rest of us? Thanks for learning with me today, and as always, keep questioning the light.